right, let's get into a little bit more running back talk. Our favorite RB2 targets and our favorite flex targets. Q, start us off. What do you got?
So I wanted to originally say Chris Carson, but I feel like I mentioned him a lot in like a previous podcast about the West. So I went with Antonio Gibson. I think he is like I'm riding more what Sean said before about him being top 5, but I think he's more towards top 10. I think he's going to be the best RB2 that I have listed as RB2s. The addition of Fitz is only going to increase his role, I think, while reducing J.D. McKissick's. And there's reports of him trying to be worked like Christian McCaffrey, so that's a good sign. But obviously, they're not going to say they're working him like Booby Dixon. So if you're coaches are trying to work you like the best running back in the league, then you're obviously doing something right.
Yep.
My flex here though, Mike Davis, Atlanta Falcons, no competition in this backfield. We saw him last year in Carolina with practically no competition. I don't know if you want to consider Curtis Samuel competition, but Arthur Davis
was easily competition.
Yes, but Mike Davis was still good. Arthur Smith came over from Tennessee. We saw what he did with Derrick Henry. Obviously, Mike Davis is not Derrick Henry, but he knows a workhorse running back. He had control of the backfield last year. Like I said, he finished RB12. You just hope that there's no veteran running backs added to this team. They did just recently cut someone, I think.
Davian Hawkins, their undrafted rookie. But they really don't have that many big names behind them. Kadri Allison is RB2.
Yeah, I wish they signed back Todd Gurley. Maybe an Adrian Peterson type guy would go over there. But if not, and it's like it is right now, solid flex, maybe RB2. Yeah, put him either way.
I see it, Q. I see the light. All right, T-Gods, what do you got?
My RB2 is a man who can run the ball, he can catch the ball, and he always falls in drafts. Every single year, people sleep on this man. He was just talking about him a little bit. He said Chris Carson, but that's who it is. It's Chris Carson. Last 2 years, he missed 5 games. A little concerning, but nothing crazy. That's why he's an RB2, not an RB1. Past 2 years.
RB1.
What?
Could be an RB1.
Could be an RB1. Could be potential, but last 2 years, he's had 1,900 rushing yards, 74 receptions, 550 receiving yards, and 18 total touchdowns. He finished as RB12 in 2019 and RB19 in 2020. So he's always finishing top 20. He's not bad. It's around the top 15 area, but for some reason he always falls to the 3rd round, maybe early 4th if you're lucky, but usually 3rd round he's going. But I like Chris Carson. I mean, it's like Rashad Penny, not a threat.
They brought him back for a reason.
This man does front flips and sticks to landing and keeps going.
Oh,
He's
my
a beast.
Yeah, I love Chris Carson.
Yes, we all love Chris Carson, but he falls all the time. People just pass up on him. And my flex is a man that I really like this year. Everybody seems to hate him. But Kareem Hunt he's solid. This is in PPR. I'd go for him for a flex in PPR because his pass catching ability is very good. And last year he had 198 carries, 841 yards, and 6 touchdowns. I know Chubb did miss time, but he can run the ball too if you need him to. That just goes to show right there. He only had 38 receptions last year. Kind of weird. I think that goes up a little bit, but he had 5 receiving touchdowns last year. He just be catching and running, going for touchdowns. He had 11 total touchdowns. I know Chubb's back, but I think he could still produce.
He could squeak in there.
And Odell, washed. Sorry, had to say it. Odell's washed. I'm sorry, everybody. I don't believe in him anymore. But I think his real only competition for fantasy points on that team is Jarv and Chubb. That's the only threat I see.
And I still don't think they trust. I don't think they trust Baker enough to be airing the ball out all game. So why not just dump it off to Kareem?
Yeah,
dump it off to Kareem. Let him go, man.
Yeah, they're definitely a run first, play good defense team, and Kareem could easily. We've seen 2 running backs be really good together in the past with the Saints, both top 10. I think Kareem could easily be top 20, even with Chubb healthy.
Yeah.
Matt, what do you got, bud?
All righty. For my RB2, you guessed it, is James Robinson. The unfortunate injury to Travis Etienne, like we mentioned earlier in the podcast, It's a shame, but that is the threat of all of James Robinson's receiving work gone. Last year, he had 49 catches for 350 yards, just about. I mean, he rushed for over 1,000 yards. He finished RB6, like we mentioned. He was just an absolute workhorse. And now that ETN's gone, I don't see anybody, even Carlos Hyde, really challenging him for many touches a game. I just see him running away with this starting job that he's been blessed with this year. And like I mentioned earlier, in the red zone, within the 5-yard line, James Robinson had 5 rushes. Q, guess how many times he scored?
6.
Probably. He scored all 5 times.
One wasn't counted.
So when you need to score and you're within that 20-yard line, you give it to James Robinson. He finds a way to get it done every single time. And as far as my flex, recent news boosted him a little bit. Sony Michel being gone helps Damian Harris out a lot. And in addition to Sony Michel being gone, Rex Burkhead is also gone. And in total, that is 146 carries that opens up for Damian Harris to get this year. I'm not saying he's going to get all of them. I'm just saying that's a lot of carries to spread around throughout the rest of that backfield. So, I mean, I don't know where Damian Harris is going in drafts. It's probably moving up since the news that Sony Michel broke. But yeah, I love Damian Harris last year. I'm trying to get him in our dynasty league. Doesn't seem to be working out too well. But yeah, I love Damian Harris this year. He's going to be the workhorse for that Patriots offense. I believe that Mac Jones will be the starter, so Cam won't be taking rushes away from the running backs. So yeah, Damian Harris, all the potential in the world.
Yep, he's going RB32, so right in that flex range.
Right there.
No, RB30 as well, not RB32. Sorry,
Mr. Technical.
All right. My RB2, Deandre Swift. He missed 3 full games last year and was still RB18. He's a great pass catching back. He had 46 catches last year. Easily could have 50 plus this year with Jared Goff running for his life. And behind that, their offensive line is pretty good. I'll give them that. But Jared Goff does tend to hold on to the ball, also tends to dump the ball off. So Jared Goff could easily find Deandre Swift 50 plus times this year. Jamal Williams is a little bit of a threat. He will be involved, but I'm not too worried about it. Adrian Peterson took most of Swift's volume for the first half of the season, all of last year anyways. He's a top 15 running back for me with RB1 upside any given week. Deandre Swift has all the talent and all the opportunity to be a very solid RB2 this year. And for my flex, I like Chase Edmonds a lot. He had 53 catches last year, and now we'll assume a bit more of a role with James Conner replacing Kenyon Drake. I think Kenyon Drake was a little bit better than James Conner is personally. And Kenyon Drake got paid, I think, like $10 million from the Raiders, while they paid like James Conner like $1 million just to come play here. So obviously James Conner is going to be involved in the passing game a little bit, but I still think Chase Edmonds is the guy I would want to own here. And he's a very solid flex play. He's going to have a safe floor with the passing game volume, and he's got the upside to score touchdowns. He can break off big plays. We've seen him do it multiple times. Obviously, he's not going to have the biggest volume. He's not a guy that's going to carry the backfield, but he's a solid flex play.
Definitely.
And he's being drafted as 1-2. I think he's going like RB27. So
yeah, there's definitely upside there.
He's got RB2 upside. All right, let's get into our rookie running backs, our rookie targets. T-Gods and Matt, I'll let you go first because you guys are going to body the first guy here that we all know and love.
No, you don't love. I love.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
love, but I like him.
You don't love.
I'm probably not going to get him because he's drafted too high for my blood, but he's still really good. I like him. Go ahead.
It's Najee Harris, everybody.
The
Go ahead,
clear-cut best. I mean, he has the best opportunity to finish in like the top 10 running backs this year. He's coming into the league with a full workload. He's clearly going to be the workhorse there. I mean, yeah, the Steelers have known to be a pass-heavy offense, but I mean, that defense is good. So they might not be down as much as we think they might be. So I still see what's his face? Najee
Najee.
Harris. Najee Harris getting a ton of volume. Even in the preseason, every game I've watched so far, he has looked good. And he's usually out there with the first stringers, so maybe not all the first stringers on the defense are out there. But, he has all the talent in the world to go up against these defenses and produce.
He can be ass, but he's still going to have all the crazy volume, so that can make him look good.
You could still be ass with volume, but I just don't see Najee Harris being ass.
Yeah, he doesn't. He looks real good in preseason.
Yeah.
He does.
Real
He
good.
does
look
He
pretty
looks like
good.
a menace.
Real good.
He does look pretty good. I do like that.
It's strictly volume. It's literally just volume. They think
That's it.
he's going to get the volume. They drafted him early
Special
for a
shout
reason.
out to Trey Sermon, though, because we know Raheem Mostert and the whole rest of the 49ers backfield doesn't have the best history
With health.
with health. I was going to say health history, but I got them mixed up. Both H words. But yeah, special shout out to him.
All right, Q. Who's your running back that you like of the rookies?
I'm just going based off someone who could also get a lot of volume. Michael Carter, the Jets. I think he fits this team because Ty Johnson's irrelevant. Tevin Coleman's bug when it comes
That's
to
your
health.
boy.
Yeah, I love him, but let's be honest here. Tough flow. And
Tough love.
P. Ryan, the other P. Ryan. I need to check if they're
LaMichael.
related. LaMichael, Samaje. I think why not just start Michael Carter, rookie quarterback with a rookie running back. The team's not that bad, so he could see some work, but he's not going to be the top rookie running back. I just had to pick somebody that wasn't Najee Harris.
Yeah, you could get some volume.
It's hard to
And
do.
you're getting him as RB4, so you can get him cheap, and he could be pretty solid this year. I don't hate it. Definitely gonna be better than Frank Gore was. So 90-year-old Frank Gore. I'll finish this off with the rookies. I like Javonte Williams. I've already talked about him. He's the younger, fresher running back of the two in Denver. Melvin Gordon was wilding out last year, getting DUIs and missing time here and there with little nagging injuries. So he's going to start off with the workload. He's Melvin Gordon. He's still a solid running back, but he is 28. He's getting to that point where the running backs start to fade a little bit. And Javonte Williams is young, fresh, coming in from a very good college. Actually, him and Michael Carter played together at North Carolina. And Javonte Williams, I like him a lot. I like the talent. He was drafted high for a reason. So I think he's going to get involved at some point this year and be a solid running back. He's worth the scoop.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get to trivia, I'll give a bold take. Q, start us off. What do you got?
Josh Jacobs, hate train, all aboard. Josh Jacobs finishes outside the top 20 this year. The defense isn't good, so they'll be throwing the ball. I don't know if Josh Jacobs is really a nice pass catcher, but lost Aguilar. Henry Ruggs is unknown. The offense is very stagnant outside of Darren Waller. And I think the addition of Drake has a massive impact on Jacobs' time. Gruden's all in the hot seat as well. He could be going after this season if they continue to suck. But they paid Drake, follow the money. That's the quote. And Jacobs very up and down last year. I think they're like I said, they're trying to believe that Josh Jacobs is good. I just think he's below average. And like I said, also him and Drake, I think, are in the same realm of running back. I think you're getting a better value for Drake. So Josh Jacobs.
Can I bring up one thing?
Go ahead.
Last year, I tried to trade James Robinson for Josh Jacobs straight up, and it got vetoed.
What week was it? I don't know if it really matters
Week-
because James Robinson was good every
Week
week.
12, week 11, right
Who
around
was
there.
it to?
I don't
Cass.
remember.
Yeah.
Wasn't
that's
there
why
wide
I got
receivers
vetoed.
involved, though? It wasn't straight
No,
up.
There's
it was
no
straight
way
up.
that was
It was
straight up
straight-
and got
It
vetoed.
was straight. I promise. I put it on
Bro.
everything.
Cat.
Why would you ever do
Cat.
Wasn't
that?
Keenan
I will,
involved or
I
something?
will find receipts.
Find them. I need to see them. I don't believe it. Anyways, Matt, you're up anyways. What do you got?
All right. Well, apparently my name is Mark now, but I've said this in the previous podcast when we were talking about the Titans, but I believe Derrick Henry goes for another 2,000-yard season. Back-to-back 2,000-yard seasons. Nobody in the history of the league has ever done it twice, and I think he is good enough and that offense is good enough and run-heavy enough for him to do it 2 seasons in a row. I think the addition of Julio Jones, as crazy as it might sound, it helps Derrick Henry a lot. Boxes aren't going to be stacked like he's probably used to seeing. Defenses are definitely going to be exploited. And Derek, he might be the best running back in the league if like you couldn't catch passes. I don't know how to say
pure
it.
rusher.
Yeah, just best pure rusher by far. And he will rush for another 2,000 yards.
I like that take.
I like it as well.
Sean, do you like my take though?
Before we get into that, I found the receipts. It was Josh Jacobs and Marvin Jones for James Robinson and Michael Gallup. So Marvin Jones is definitely better than Michael Gallup, number one. But number two, we don't really do trade restrictions aside from people that don't really know how to trade. And secondly, it wasn't vetoed. It was upheld and then cast backed out.
Oh my!
I remember talking about James Robinson towards the end of the season when the playoffs were starting for fantasy, and his schedule was hard. So I guess that was what.
That's why I traded him to T-Gods for Chris Carson.
Irrelevant, anyways.
Didn't matter for me anyway.
T-Gods, get yours take out so I can argue right back.
I think I made this take just because, one, I wanted to make Sean mad, and two, I really hate Joe Mixon. I don't have any crazy numbers. I can't predict the future, but I can tell you that Joe Mixon is going to finish outside the top 15 because, one, he's really bad at football. Two, his O-line is trash. And let's see, his best season was 1,464 all-purpose yards and 9 total touchdowns. I don't see him topping that this year. I just don't see it. I will never see it. And he finished number 10. I think that's his ceiling. That's his max right there. That's the max. He's not finishing over that, Sean. I'm sorry. I don't care about Gio leaving and him getting more receptions. It doesn't matter. He's like, the team sucks and everybody's so hype on the receivers and Burrow. Where's Mixon's points going to come from if all that hype is true? Where's all the points going to come from? I don't want.
T-Gods is fired up.
I hate Joe Mixon so much, dude.
Everybody hates Joe Mixon.
I hate Joe Mixon. He's not
boiling.
good, dude.
I am still riding with my boy Joe Mixon. He's finishing top 5 this year. That's my bold take. Everything is set up for success. T-Gods doesn't care about Giovanni.
Wait. Who's he finished over? I want to hear some names that he finishes over.
Over Eckler. That's who I have at 5.
So you're just.
Or over
He's
you.
going to be number 5.
Dude, no way.
Look, it's a bold take. It's obviously not set in stone. I have him at 10, so I like him as an RB1 this year. He's a low-end RB1 for me. He's finished RB10 and RB13 before getting hurt last year. He gets the volume. Giovanni Bernard is now gone. More passing game volume is open. And what have we guys been talking about with Najee Harris? You're following the volume. Joe Mixon's going to get volume. Joe Burrow's going to have to throw a ton. Mixon's going to be his dump-off guy. He's not a guy that's going to be able to run, especially after tearing his ACL. So he's going to have to dump the ball off somewhere. It's going to go to Mixon. And even with the more passing options, it's going to open up more running lanes because there's less guys in the box. They're going to be worried about T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and now Jamar Chase. Less guys in the box. It's going to be easier running lanes for Joe Mixon. The O-line did get a little bit better. They have 2 solid offensive tackles. Left guard's probably still a little bit of an issue. But overall, the offensive line is decent. They're not the worst in the league like they were last year. They're probably like 8th worst. Still not great, but better than they were. I love Mixon this year. I'm all in on my guy. He's going to be top 5. I've been waiting for so long. It's happening this year. RB13, RB10. Got hurt last year. This is the year. He's top 5. Wait for it. Lock it in. We're coming back to this at the end of the season now.
I'm really scared if this happens.
Wait,
I'll be so happy if this happens.
Sean, if he finishes outside the top 15 this year, will you finally give up on Joe Mixon?
No,
you got to let me burn his jersey. You got to let me burn it.
I don't even. No, you can't burn a jersey. That's a waste of money. Chalked. No, I won't let you burn his jersey. I may be off of the Joe Mixon train if he's outside the top 15 and plays all 16 games.
Okay, that's fair.
If he gets hurt, then I'll have an excuse again. But then at that point, he's going to getting older. So he was RB13 and RB10. Like he was already a good running back, and now he has more volume. Why can't he be top 5?
Because there's other people in the league and not just him.
Right.
He's got the volume. We're chasing the volume. He's top 10 for me. And my bold takes, he's top 5.